Hi, it's Lee from ColouringQueen.net, and today I've got a new Chinese colouring book to show you. It's roughly A4 sized. There's a whole series of these books that you may have already seen. You can see how it is in proportion to World of Flowers, which most people are familiar with Joanna's sizing. Inside we've got this lovely little poster. I'll show that to you in a minute. Now it's a glue and a stitched binding, and it folds down super easy. The thing is, the line art is very faint. This page is in a very pale grey line art, and it's a fine line and it's a little bit hard to see. Now it's a medium quality paper, but it's on the lighter end of medium. There is text here in Chinese, and here's a picture of the thumbnails included in the book. You can use a scanning and translate app to scan that and find out what it says. Now, you may have noticed on the front cover and on a few pages there looks like a little bit of a lump, and I'll just show you before I forget. See that, and it's actually gone all the way in. Now that is nothing to do with the packaging whatsoever. It arrived here absolutely beautiful, wonderfully packaged, and I opened it up and I put it down, and then some silly person put an oven on top of it, and that would be me. So I've dented the book, and I'm going to have to try and iron it out or do something, but it was nothing to do with the packaging. It was purely my mistake. And in case you're wondering why I put an oven on it, there was a storm coming and my new appliance was out and I didn't want it to get wet, and I just popped it in the first place, and unfortunately that was the place where I had put my new books. The joys of renovating, hey? So you can see that some of the line art is nice and black and really crisp, and then in the background we've got this light grey sketchy line art, so it gives it a painterly type effect when you're finished colouring it, and you can see that light grey there and over there. Now for the people that have minor visual impairment, this is going to be difficult to see those lighter grey line art because it is super light. And see how easily it's folding over. Now one of the little niggles with the book, and it's not a big issue, is that the line art does cross the gutter there. You can see that they've left plenty of space so that you're not colouring in the ditch. However, it is a tiny bit annoying that they've crossed the page just for that tiny little element there. So I understand from an artist's point of view that they probably draw on larger scale paper, and then when it's formatted for publishing, you know, things that they may envisage on one page actually cross over, which you can understand with this one that it flows over. But for a little element when it's just, you know, less than a centimetre, it's a little odd. So we've got these gorgeous illustrations here, and we've got this mandala type sketchy grey in the background with all these lovely little clouds as well. And in this book, there's a lot of musical instruments throughout this book that seem to be Chinese based. You can see it over here on the left and then in her hand on the right. So if you keep looking, you'll see the instrument here on the left and then used with the lovely girl on the right. There's a lot of flowing gowns as well. So beautiful gowns, and some of them I think I'll have trouble sort of working out which bit goes where, but that's common for me when things are quite flowing. I'm always sort of looking at it going, did I colour the right thing or whatnot. One thing I love about this artist is that they draw really good hands. So there we've got the little bells, and there she is tapping them over there. So often you'll see in colouring books that even though the faces may be absolutely beautiful, sometimes the hands and the feet are a little bit not quite suited to the face. Sometimes they're a bit too big, but generally the hands in this book is okay. This one seems a little bit bulkier than I would expect. It's virtually like she's got a glove on, but her feet are very nice. So I think hands and feet must be incredibly difficult to draw. You see that most of the time the hairstyle with the girl is up, and there's not a lot of variation in the hairstyle or actually in the facial expression really. But that's good if you're not too keen on colouring skin. And so we've got the little bells over here and she's ringing them there. So I like the little music theme that's happening through here. And also all of these gorgeous ribbons and jewellery and decorations. But this light grey in the background that you see throughout these images, that's going to be difficult if you do have a visual impairment. It's going to be very hard to see, and I don't even know if it's really picking up on camera. I've actually filmed this book a couple of times now to try and get a better pickup on this light grey in the background, and you know, so far I'm not having a huge amount of success, to be honest. Now I don't know what the text on the left is about, but I assume because of the image, and I haven't used my scan and translate on it, that it relates to the instrument. So this looks like a xylophone. I used to like playing with those when I was a kid. We've got this lovely grey here in the background, but again, very hard to see. And the liner on this picture is not quite as crisp as others. So we've got a very faint line for these little decorations here. And again, I think that's to produce a painterly effect on the final image, rather than the sort of outline effect that you get that looks like a tattoo. But you can see all the nice focal points because of the increased line that they're using for this image. And this girl looks a lot more modern day in character. And she's got lovely feet. I've got duck feet. So the theme of these light grey mandalas is all the way through, as is the flowing garments and the musical instruments. So there's some gorgeous illustrations in here. There are a few where the placement could have been better, where the image could have sat just on the one page. But they would look lovely if they were in a frame, I think. And because they've got the stitching in there, you could snip out the stitch and take it out. Of course, you would lose the image on the reverse, but if there was a particular favourite, you could take it out and frame it. She looks like she's got a butterfly there. It's a very windy day today, so I hope you're not hearing too much wind in the background. Our paper is a medium quality. It's on the lighter end. It's certainly not as thick as some books that I have, but it's a good quality and I think it would go well with coloured pencils. I wouldn't be putting markers on here because they would soak through to the other side if they were alcohol based. But if you had some water-based markers, I would test it out somewhere very discreetly on a page that you don't fancy so much before you dove in and coloured a bit. Now the cover is matte with a lovely little gold foil on there on the title. There you go, you can see it waving at you. You can colour this in if you fancy, but I would actually cover this book in plastic if you're going to use it, because it's matte and just it tends to get very grubby once you've unpacked it, unless I'm just a little grub. But if you wanted to keep it nice, I would certainly cover it with a bit of plastic. And book also comes with a poster. So it's folded into 4. And over here we've got our lovely lady, all in coloured background, and you can see all these beautiful ribbons and flowing outfits and all the instruments. So that's quite gorgeous. Now on the reverse is also some line art for you to colour in. So you've got the gorgeous illustrations there, some beautiful birds to colour, half of a musical instrument, pre-printed background, some lovely clouds, and a lotus flower, and some other elements to colour in as well, if you fancy. Now this paper is quite thick, it's like a thin cardstock, so it'd be quite sturdy, and it would also look lovely framed if you wanted to put that up on your wall. So there we have it, gorgeous colouring book and poster from China. So the links to buy this book are below the video as per usual. Sometimes you need to click on that show more button below the video to see all of the places that stock the book where you can buy it. And if you liked this book, please give it a thumbs up, and until next time, happy colouring.